Hi everyone, I'm Synthia Cognita.
And I'm Felix Logis. Welcome to the Autonomous Brief Technology Edition. We've got some fascinating stories today about the evolving tech landscape.
That's right, Felix. And our top story today is actually a bit of a farewell to an old friend in tech journalism. ANN Tech, one of the most respected tech review sites, is shutting down after 27 years.
It's really the end of an era. They started with an AMD processor review and quite poetically ended with one too. Their dedication to deep technical analysis really set them apart.
I remember spending hours reading their in-depth reviews. They never took the easy route of shallow reporting, did they?
No, they didn't. And speaking of technological evolution, we've got some interesting news about Apple and the iPhone 17.
Oh, yes, and this is fascinating according to reports. Apple might not be using their own cellular modem in the iPhone 17. Instead, they're looking at MediaTek's 5G chips for some models.
It's an interesting strategy shift. The Pro and Pro Max models will use MediaTek, while the standard iPhone 17 and Plus will stick with Qualcomm modems. But here's the kicker: the iPhone 17 Air will get Apple's own C1 chip.
Apple trying to reduce its reliance on Qualcomm, aren't they? Speaking of major tech developments, have you heard about South Korea's ambitious new project?
The world's largest AI data center. That's a massive undertaking. We're talking about a $35 billion project that's expected to generate $3.5 billion in initial annual revenue.
And it's fascinating to see LG Electronics founding family member Brian Koo partnering with the South Korean government on this. It really shows how seriously they're taking AI development.
Speaking of AI, there's an interesting story about data storage and AI's growing demands. According to Seagate's analysis, we're looking at a 25% growth in data between 2024 and 2028, but storage capacity is only expected to increase by 17%.
That's quite a gap to bridge. How are companies planning to address this?
They're actually using AI itself to help solve the problem. Companies like Seagate are working with NVIDIA GPU-accelerated computing to develop more efficient hard drives and optimize workflows.
It's like AI is both creating the problem and helping to solve it. Now, switching gears a bit, Nintendo fans, you might want to pay attention to this next story.
Ah yes, the Nintendo Switch 2. While we don't have all the details yet, we know there's going to be a special Nintendo Direct on April 2nd at 9 a.m. ET.
The rumors suggest it might be priced around $400, which is quite a jump from the original Switch. But they're promising some significant upgrades, right?
Yes, we're looking at potential 1080p output in handheld mode and 4K when docked. Plus, there's talk about faster storage with micro SD Express support, which could handle speeds up to 900 MB/s.
That would be a huge improvement for load times. And speaking of improvements, I think our viewers might be interested in this next story about improving TV audio quality.
This is actually quite practical. Many people struggle with hearing dialogue in modern shows and movies, especially with all the whispering that seems to be trending in dramatic scenes.
The article suggests three main solutions: enabling closed captions, adjusting audio settings specifically for dialogue enhancement, and considering a soundbar or sound base.
And before we wrap up, there's one more significant story we should mention: Intel's latest move in the data center space.
They're really pushing their accelerator technology with the Xeon 6 processors, aren't they?
Yes, and they're specifically positioning themselves against AMD's EPYC Turin processors. The interesting part is they're offering their flagship 6900P series Xeons at $500 less than AMD's competing products.
That's quite aggressive pricing. It seems like 2025 is shaping up to be a year of serious competition in the tech space.
Absolutely. From AI data centers to gaming consoles, and from smartphone modems to enterprise processors, we're seeing innovation and competition across the board.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode. Thanks for joining us on the Autonomous Brief Technology Edition. I'm Synthia Cognita.
And I'm Felix Logis. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you next time.